Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry, joined today by Terry and Max, and I wish to extend a greeting to all the Liverpool supporters watching us out there on this video. We knew you'd be here. Thank you for padding our viewer stats. That's sweet of you. We sincerely appreciate it. Yes, I'm American. I'm glad you noticed. I'm sure you're going to say, blah, blah, you're American in the comments. Congrats, you are a master of the obvious. Yeah, if you actually want to talk football, that would be cool too. All right, so anyway, now that we got the obvious stuff out of the way, yeah, Derby this weekend, Sunday. It's a goodison. Current form. Let's see here. Liverpool's recently drawn with United 0-0, Munich 0-0. Beat Bournemouth 3-0, drew with West Ham 1-1, and drew with Leicester 1-1. So
currently beat Watford 1-0 too.
Oh, they're winning right now?
Mm-hmm.
Up to date. So yeah, they're currently beating Watford. But they still have time to draw or lose. Just want to put that out there. All right. Firmino's injured. That's a thing. Quite possibly, and I think Gomez is officially healthy and possibly back for this one, but I don't know if he's going to get the start or not. I'm not sure. Alisson in goal, Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip, Alex Arnold, Wijnaldum, Henderson, Fabinho, Salah and Mane, and then could see either Shaqiri or Sturridge coming in for Firmino. Their players are pretty much, I feel like we know what we got coming from them. Pressing, high tempo, a lot of
heavy metal football.
Yeah.
Can't wait for this World Cup final.
That's right. You know, honestly, I do see this as a big game, so I don't really care. You know, honestly, it's just interesting to hear that from someone who sprinted on the pitch and hugged the keeper when they scored.
No, to be fair, I think that quote was taken out of context. I think what he was describing how difficult the games coming up for Liverpool are, and he said Everton, the way we beat them last time, are going to play this game like it's a World Cup final.
That's fair. Since when are you being fair to them?
Yeah, I saw it through other people first, and I was like, that cheeky.
I didn't see it.
Look at the way he reacted to beating us and running on the pitch. But then when I looked into it, I thought, you know what, I've got to be honest. That was taken out of context. The context wasn't actually as offensive as it seemed on paper. So fair is fair. I've got to say.
I actually wasn't offended by the comment. I just thought it was funny. You know what I mean? Like, he's the kind of guy, if he talks a little shit now and then, you know what I mean? He talks. The guy talks a lot. All right. Yeah. So a little bit of shit, whatever. It's a derby. You know, it's going to happen. You probably won't hear that from our manager, but just because our manager doesn't speak often. You know, Klopp does. So whatever. We need to think a little bit about the Cardiff win and what's going to transition over to the derby in terms of lineup, formation, all that. Okay, Max, let's start with you. He went with Schneiderlin, Jagielka. Those are two of the players I think that really we have to look to that would directly affect, I think, the game a little bit more. Walcott may or may not start, who knows. But I think Schneiderlin and Jagielka are the ones where I think we would normally never guess that they would start the derby. Do you think either one of those makes it in?
That Cardiff game, there were defensive mistakes that would have otherwise been punished by better opposition. There were examples of Jags giving the balls away. I think Schneiderlin gave the ball away one or two times as well in the midfield. Like, you know, if we're playing against the high caliber opposition, we would have otherwise been punished, conceded, what have you. So I've got to be honest, no. I just think he was experimenting a little bit, obviously, after the 17-day layoff. I mean, you couldn't with that 17-day layoff, you couldn't exactly say he was resting Andre Gomez, etc. It did seem like part of his game plan to want to play the like Theo Walcott, Schneiderlin, Jags, but let's say like this, you know, you've got to give them credit where it's due. To me, and this is just my personal opinion, slaughter me if you want, they've been the best team in England. As I was saying earlier, their blip in form has been, you know, drawing games, not losing them. So yeah, they've been, you know, what Klopp's built is an absolutely fantastic side. They're really physical, and yeah, it's going to be a physical game in terms of, you know, strength, power, speed. You don't want, how old's Jags now? 35, 36. You don't want Jags playing. You don't want Schneiderlin playing with the pace of them, like, you know. So yeah, I can't see them starting.
Yeah, my initial thought was that they would not be starting or playing. Also, I want to go ahead and give respect to your just brutal honesty. I think there's an easy thing for a lot of channels just to be like, they're our rival, you know, and just, you know, talk a lot of shit about them. Yeah, I mean, we have things that we could say, but they are good. They're a good team. They have a system in place, and they have pieces in order to be able to, you know, Klopp has the team he wants. And let's be honest, right now they have a lot of points on the table.
Yeah,
still alive in Champions League.
He's fixed the issue that's in the defence. He's fixed the issue with goalkeepers. Still, though, it must be said, they haven't won the league since 1990. I hate seeing Sky and BT cover them like the best thing since sliced bread. They've not won the league in my lifetime. I don't. You know, I hope they bloody don't win it in my lifetime. They're out the League Cup. They're out the FA Cup. Probably going to get knocked out in the Champions League away at Bayern Munich. Contrast that to Manchester City, who are still fully in contention of the quadruple. Mm-hmm. You know, fair play to Liverpool. They've been the best team in the Premier League this season, but you know, you can't compared to Guardiola and the depth that he's built. You know, the City are by far the better team.
I think another thing that we get, Terry, is with Jags. If Jagielka's playing, you're getting a decent. One of the things we got was that leadership. We actually have a voice in the back, and that could have been one of the reasons why we didn't give up a ridiculous set piece goal. So, however, with Jagielka, I think all of us, every single one of us, noted how slow he looked on Tuesday. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with Max. I don't think we can really start Jagielka or Schneiderlin in this one. But how are we going to get that same leadership? Because it seems like it's something that we really need in the back.
I mean, I'm not so sure about Schneiderlin. I think Schneiderlin might start. Like, you know, given the defense, so given their middle three, the energy of their middle three. That's not to say Schneiderlin's energetic, but I think he maybe not. But I would not be shocked if he was. Jagielka, there's no way. If you think Zuma isn't coming straight back in, you're crazy. Yeah. Jagielka's, as we said in the last segment, you know, his leadership was very much a breath of fresh air against Cardiff, and it was Cardiff are a set piece orientated team. So it was very much needed. Liverpool are not Cardiff. There is no way on earth that Jagielka will be able to live with Liverpool. They will absolutely tie him in knots. I don't think that the leadership will be as important against Liverpool, which is a strange thing to say, but not as important as the physical side of the game, where you'll need fast players. It doesn't matter how strong mentally Jagielka is. If one of Liverpool's front three get away from him, would you rather have Jagielka chase them down, or would you rather have Jagielka or Zuma in a sort of foot race? I mean, and Zuma's come unstuck a couple of times this season and tried to use his pace and his strength to get himself out of trouble, but at least he's got pace and strength. Those days are over for Jagielka. If we play Jagielka, we're going to be sitting on our 6-yard box for the whole game, which is not what we want to do.
So, you know, the question remains: where are we going to get that leadership?
Big game. Leaders are made in big games.
The whole
team.
True.
Got to rise to the occasion, man.
You can't just look around and go, who's leading us? Lead yourself. Like, there's still players on the pitch who, in theory, should have leadership qualities. Seamus Coleman, everyone made a big song and dance at the beginning of the season about how he's the next captain and he's got everything he needs. And Coleman's missed a lot of derbies over the years. He's always seems to get injured around derby time, and this is the type of game where you're going to need a little bit of that nastiness that Coleman's got in him. You're going to need Coleman to have one of his better games. He's still got it in him. He hasn't got as many of them in him as he used to, but you don't. If we're relying on a nearly retired Jagielka for any leadership, then we're in trouble. He was useful in this Cardiff game, but it's a totally different kettle of fish now at Liverpool. They're not a set piece team. They're a pace and counter attacking team, and that is exactly where you don't want Jagielka to be.
It's weird though. It's almost like we need, because they do have a few. I mean, immediately I think about Van Dijk on set pieces. He is really so. We do need someone to kind of be barking out, but at the same time, I think speed is the thing that's going to last all 90 minutes, and their speed is going to be present the whole time, the entire game. So that I would agree with you there. How are we doing this middle three? If we're, I feel like you've got to start Sigurdsson after the game he just had.
You've got to start Gay after the game.
You've got to start Gay after the game he just had. So then, so are we just rolling Gomez with that other spot, and Schneiderlin is the consideration, or I mean, and it's not going to be Davies probably, even though I think he's healthy.
More than likely, it's going to be Gomez, isn't it?
That's what I would think.
That's going to have its implications for the likes of Sigurdsson and Gay and wanting to get forward like they did against Cardiff.
Mm-hmm.
But still, we've got to be cautious, and we've got to be aware that on the back foot, we've got to be careful. We can't overcommit forward. Of course, we can't overcommit forward. So, by default, the midfielders are going to have to take on more defensive responsibility for this game. Man for man, they are a better side for us. So, we've got to be on our toes.
I feel like I saw on Twitter a lot of people were talking about how Silva, maybe one of the reasons he was going with Walcott and Richarlison and DCL is he saw how quick Watford were and how Watford just sort of demolished Cardiff, and he was trying to get a quick attackers in there. Do we feel like he's going to be trying to get straight line runners, or is he going to be? I mean, we've been talking about Ademola Lookman getting more minutes for a long time now. Can we actually see him and Bernard getting the start, or is it probably just going to be Bernard?
Probably just Bernard. I mean, I'd be surprised if he dropped Richarlison, because he seems to like him, especially in the bigger games. But Bernard has to start. There's Calvert-Lewin has got to start, or like 100%. I think Richarlison will start, and I think Bernard will as well. So it's just whatever variation that front three is, whether Richarlison starts on the right or Bernard does. I prefer Richarlison on the right, just because neither him or Bernard are comfortable out on that flank. But I think Richarlison makes more of it than Bernard does. Bernard is really just sort of blunted a little bit when he's out there, like all the tricks and stuff he does, and his skill set just doesn't translate when he's got to go on the other foot. The opposite-footed fullback. Richarlison, at least his physical attributes don't really diminish by being on the other side, just like where he wants to strike the ball. I don't know. I wonder whether, but I think out of the three, the least, if one of them's going to drop out for Walcott, so it'll be, of the three I've mentioned, it'll be Bernard. I think Bernard might start on the bench again and just come on like he did in the last game. I hope that's not true, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. As far as the opposition, we know Salah, Mane, they always have a front three. Even if Firmino's out, Shaqiri's a good player. Sturridge, athletic player. We know. But when I look at this possible lineup, though, I think Robertson as being a player to seriously keep an eye on, because
the fullback.
Yeah, Alexander Arnold.
Great player.
Yeah. Both of those two players going up the flanks. I feel better about Dean, though, defending than I do about Coleman, which is why Robertson makes me a little more concerned.
I was going to say that is one possibly to throw into contention. A start for John Joe Kenny, maybe.
Hey,
bit more speed, obviously. That's local lad might rise to the occasion.
Bit more aggression, bit more fight. Like, it just sounds strange. That's usually something you wouldn't fault Seamus Coleman on, but I doubt it. I don't think he'll go with that. I think that's it. He'll go for the experience.
You know, when we were talking about FA Cup, and we were talking, and I mentioned possibly John Joe Kenny playing, you guys said veteran leadership in a game like this, having a senior player. I thought that was really intelligent. That's why I thought maybe Coleman may get the nod on this one because of that same reason. But at the same time, I worry less about Kenny getting beat by Robertson because of pure speed, you know what I mean, than Coleman now. I feel like Coleman's quickness, his short, 2 to 5 yard movement is not as on point as Kenny's is right now. So, although I will say Coleman did not look bad yesterday.
The Anfield derby last year, the one where Allardyce got the point and it was just 10% possession or whatever it was. Yeah. Kenny had a really good game against Mane in that match. I know it's a long time ago and a lot can change, but Kenny's played that type of game before and gave a good account of himself. So I would have, if I saw Kenny starting, I would not worry about his ability to step up at all. I just don't think with Coleman having had one of his better games more recently in the last match, and then obviously the leadership aspect comes into it, I just can't see Coleman being dropped for this game at all.
I would agree. However, I'm not going to sit there and have my eyes get super wide if Kenny's starting. I'm going to feel okay about it. You know. Anything else about this one, guys? We need to drop some predictions. I realize we don't want to do predictions on this one. It's just but it's something we do. So
just win. Just please win. It's been so long. It's time to win. They're an unbelievably good team, but they used to beat us when they weren't that good, and we were better than we are now. So who cares what the rules are? Just win. Any means necessary. Don't care if we cheat.
Grow the grass long. Let's grow the grass long. Let's do it.
Yeah. Just win. Get that monkey off our back. I mean, Marco Silva and a lot of the new players will buy themselves a hell of a lot of credit and a lot of time in the bank if they win this game.
So, so just win is Terry's prediction.
No, my prediction is probably defeat. I don't like to predict defeats because I just don't. So I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw, a really cagey, tense game like they have been sometimes recently, where every single supporter watching is nervous and has got a sort of knot in their stomach, kicking every ball in their mind. 1-1, optimistically, because they're not playing to their flowing best at the minute, and I'm hoping that we get another performance like they had against Man United, where they can't really take advantage of any advantage. They can't take advantage of anything they have over the opposition.
It could be if we just need to have some players get injured and sub out, and maybe because that supposedly was what Klopp said. That really threw him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Disrupt the rhythm.
Yeah. Max, what's your prediction, man?
If we win, it atones for our season. It makes up for that horrific loss at Anfield that completely derailed our season. But we're going to get beat 2-0. I can see it. You know what I mean? It's going to happen.
I am so not shocked by Max's prediction. I'm not shocked at all. After my last prediction was I was predicting a clean sheet. I don't think this will be a clean sheet. I don't think, because Max is right. There were so many mistakes that we made in the back that Cardiff did not take advantage of that a team like Liverpool would, and so I think we will concede. But I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say 2-1.
Behave.
I know, Max. I'm just saying, it's bold and maybe stupid. I don't care, but there it is. 2-1 Blues. I'm picking a win. Yeah. And I actually expected one of you to do it as well. So yeah. No, I'm cool with it though. I'm cool with being the lone winner picker. Yeah. Fine with it. So, anyway, that's it for our match preview. Yeah, I don't have anything like clever. I just want us to play well, damn it. You know? Let's fucking play well. All right, so if you that's it, you know. No like pageantry, whatever. Just play with some cojones, por favor.
Yeah, please let's not concede in the last minute of added time.
With bullshit.
Yeah. If you're gonna lose with plenty of notice so I can get my head around it. Don't do it like that. Concede on the 60th minute and then don't do it then.
Okay. All right, so I'm moving on. If you've been digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We'd sincerely appreciate it. If you want more Terry, as we all do, check him out on the Liverpool Echo fan Gerry. On his Twitter will tell you when he's on there. It's good things. Max drops his knowledge in lots of places, so check his Twitter for where he will be. He's often on the Toffee Blues website, though, which is new and shiny and worth your time, so go check it out, all right? Yeah, and this is our final video segment. If you want to hear, if you know your history, it's a quiz between Terry and Max where their brains go blah, blah, blah. Check that out. Switch over to the podcast. Yeah, Everton trivia. So I could not get these right. I'll just let you know. Looking at the quiz questions, they're difficult. So switch on over. And if you don't switch over, well, you're probably one of the Liverpool supporters who are supporting us in this difficult time. So sweet of you. So that's it. All right, guys, let's move on. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna play well on Sunday. That's all I got. All right, gentlemen, thanks so much. I'll see you on the podcast in just a moment. Bye.